Symphony of 1000. You did it! You made it! On behalf of the Sacramento Youth Symphony, we'd like to welcome all of you to take part in today, either as an audience or a musician. And in fact, I think we should start this out with a little shout out from the Sacramento Youth Symphony musicians. Let's hear it, everybody. My name is Beth Ruriak. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. This is perhaps the biggest symphony I will ever introduce in my life and my career. And what a thrill. Capital Public Radio has been driven on the passion of one Mr. Sean Bianco, host of our opera night at Capital Public Radio. And I think whatever applause you have already shared needs to be even bigger for the passion of Sean Bianco to take the vision of Maestro Michael Neumann and turn it into a how to do it, because he's what helped make it happen today. Public Radio is the media sponsor, but a colleague of mine is actually in the orchestra, in the flute section, our one and only Devin Yamanaka. Devin, let us see, where are you? There she is, right over here, ladies and gentlemen. This is history. This is how history is made. A group of people coming together with passion. It has never been done in the history of Sacramento, but bigger than that, Sean's right. I have it on great authority that it is true. It has never been done in the history of California. So clap like this and reach over like that. Actually started as sort of a waking up at 4 a.m. dream. Maestro Michael Neumann said he was sort of coming to about 2 years ago, and he had this vision of all of this happening. So audience, as you're watching your loved one, your favorite musician play, take just a moment to imagine what it must be like for him. When you wake up and you have a thought, and then you have partners like Sean and everybody else down the road and all of you that came here to turn it into words that, yes, I will commit and I will make it happen. And then the thought and the word become the deed. And today, it's the deed of making history. So think for a moment from his perspective as he looks out here and what joy it must be. Because you might think his vision created this, but he continues to tell me backstage that you're all giving him a gift. So it will be a pleasure in just a moment to welcome him. The orchestra, as you might know, is divided into 3 groups. So let's hear a little applause from our advanced musicians. And how about our intermediates? Where are you? Musicians, maybe the first concert of their lives. So all 3 groups will perform together first in the Anthems medley. It's listed in your program, and the melodies are coming to you from Japan and China and Spain and Germany, from South Korea and Russia, from Canada, Italy, Australia, I couldn't memorize the list, from France, Great Britain, and of course the United States. Then you'll hear from the advanced group, then you'll hear from the intermediates, then the beginners, and at the end, they will all perform together. So, this is the moment. It gives me absolute pleasure to ask you to join with me in inviting the one and only dream maker, Maestro Michael Neumann.
1, 2. intermediate group who will be playing together, and we start with the Great Gate of Kiev. Pardon me?
That's good, I can get a word in.
Take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, the artistic director of the Sacramento Youth Symphony, once again, your conductor for the afternoon, Maestro Michael Neumann.
Great Gate of Kiev. 1, 2, 3. Alvarado on Radetzky orchestra. Are we having fun yet? I am sweating up here. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Symphony, the fourth movement. Although I think if Dvorak was alive today, he would cringe, because this is an arrangement, but that's good. It's a nice arrangement, accessible to all those playing. So here we go. One, two, three, four. every mistake somebody makes, you owe us the Youth Symphony 10 cents, and we'll be millionaires by tomorrow. That doesn't include me, of course. I don't make mistakes. Okay, one more piece with the two groups, and then we will add our younger group with us. So now is the Prelude to Carmen. Keep the tempo. 1, 2.
brought his baton to the Youth Symphony back in 1979, and earlier today, when we said that year, somebody in the back raised their hand. One of your original musicians is here today, isn't he?
There's probably more than one, but yeah, some people who were in the Youth Symphony back in my first year, which was 1979. So I've been with this orchestra and this organization for 36 years. So there are people here who were there when we did that.
Might be waving a timpani mallet in the back. Anybody else? Anybody else want to give a little shout-out wave to 1979 with Maestro Neumann?
Come on, yeah.
How about musician in the crowd might be. I've heard a rumor that maybe there's a musician who is an octogenarian who has hit 80. Is there anybody here that's hit that mark?
Right here.
Ah, I can't see from where I am. Please step forward. So the 1,000 musicians in this room decided to make a commitment somewhere between now and the last 6 months, and got online and registered, downloaded the music, and have been rehearsing. And there was a point that Sean Bianco said to me, "We have to keep mentioning this on the air. We have the core of the Youth Symphony, which is about 350, but that still leaves us with a long way to go. Hundreds, Beth. Do you know that? Do you know that means hundreds?" I said, "Sean, I think it'll happen." He goes, "Well, we have to keep talking about it." And then it went up to 450, and then it was 500. And then I got a message about 2 months ago, "We have to hit it again. We're at 700, but that's not 1,000. Okay, we'll do it. And guess what? 10 days before registration closed, you all did it. You hit 1,000 on October 2nd. Congratulations. To add our beginning musicians. And beginning doesn't mean young or little, but we do need to make a nod to the young and the little in the group today. And I don't know if there is a 4-year-old, I'll ask in a moment, but I've met a couple 5-year-olds. In the front, up here, there is a 4-year-old. Younger?
She's so tiny you cannot see her.
Is that Valerie? I believe that's Valerie.
On the chair. Stand her
He's
up.
going to lift her up. And she's with her 7-year-old brother.
Poses the question, Beth, what were you guys doing when you were 4?
Yeah, Dustin's her chaperone, he's 7. And on the other side of Valerie is Braden, and he's 5. He's with his dad. Dad and Braden, can you wave up there? A few more words saying hello to Isabella. I think you're 5. Can someone help you up on your chair? Do we have any more 5-year-olds? I don't want to miss anybody that young. Anyone else that's 5? One more? Yay! That he's 5½. And I also want you to meet Jake. And Jake is 10, but Jake is blind, and he memorized 2 of the songs today. When I was here this afternoon and heard the tuning, feel a chord inside of me, and I thought, I'm going to get teary over orchestra tuning? Really? And then after the practice, I walked around, and there were a few other people feeling the same way I did. So I just want to ask Maestro Neumann, I think in your original vision, it wasn't just about a musician or what you could do with the group, but there was a big picture of community, wasn't there?
Oh, that's the whole reason we're doing this. The reason for this is not to play this, perfect concert like the New York Philharmonic where everything's in tune and everything's whatever. The purpose of this was is exactly what's happening today. Having a whole bunch of people come and have a great deal of fun, doing something quite historic for this entire region. And from all the people that have come to me so far, we're achieving that goal of just making this a totally fun community event through the vehicle of music.
Let's hear 1,000. Let's add the beginners, to the intermediates, to the advanced, to the spirit of all of you, and let's celebrate with Maestro Neumann.
Well, let's celebrate with the Hallelujah Chorus, right?
Okay, the Symphony of 1,000.
one throws quite a bit of a challenge to some of the younger players because it's, while it's in 3/4 time, it's conducted in 1, so it goes by very quickly. So I told them, you know, if you want to just play the first note in every measure, that's fine. Or just play the first note, the last note of the piece, and that'll be fine too. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. the Radetzky March. And we told everybody, I told people we'd be out by 5:15, which indeed we will. Short, sweet, and to the point with this many players. What an incredible situation. So now we go to the Radetzky March. One, two.
Maestro Neumann, but before we get going, let's add a round of applause to our beginning instrumentalists.
gasps a little bit. And it might all be in fun, but I think what should be a given today is that this happened, and this can happen again. So if you believe in it, and you loved it, you were a part of it, you witnessed it, let everybody know. Let the Youth Symphony know. Let everybody involved in music in our community know that you wanted to come back, you wanted to stay, because Symphony of 1000, we did it, we can do it again. Maestro Neumann.
Before we play the final piece on today's program, a few words from me. First of all, a very heartfelt thank you to all of you who are here today. Players, listeners, sponsors, and supporters. On behalf of the Sacramento Youth Symphony, I want to thank our media sponsor, Capital Public Radio, and let's give a very nice round of applause to our wonderful MC. Capital Public Radio. And also, our event coordinator, radio show host, Sean Bianco, who put in countless hours to assist me in the coordination of this larger-than-life event. Sean Bianco, please. Acknowledge our major sponsors who believed in my vision: Ming's Recycling, the Sacramento Bee, the Nilo Company, Capital Public Radio, and Rayleigh's, as well as the Morton Marcy Friedman Foundation and the Getz Mahoney family. Thank you for your support. So, 2 years ago, this event was but a dream that I had somewhere in the 4 o'clock area. I don't really know, but it was a dream that I had. And I feel so much gratitude to see this dream become a reality right here and right now. Please make a note that on Veterans Day, Tuesday, November 11th at 6 p.m., the premier orchestra of the Sacramento Youth Symphony will play a free concert honoring all of our veterans in the Community Center Theater, just a few blocks from here. This will be a very patriotic concert which will include bagpipes and will conclude with the 1812 overture of Tchaikovsky's. So some of you would like to make it. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to make a contribution to the Sacramento Youth Symphony, there'll be some buckets on the outside. Feel free to leave $5 or $1 or $10. Anything over 100, please make out the check to the Michael Neumann. Just kidding. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to conclude our program with an ode to joy from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, perhaps, in my opinion, the greatest symphony ever written in humankind. And I'd like to ask you, the audience, a favor. I would like to ask you, the audience, to participate in this finale by standing up and imagine that you are embracing all of those sitting down playing today. Because the essence of Beethoven's Ode to Joy is Alle Menschen werden Brüder. All people are brothers. So let's conclude this concert all together with the audience standing, embracing all the players here. Here is the Ode to Joy of Beethoven.
but literally a dream come true is what you witnessed today, and each one of you made it happen. We had a wonderful beginning. We had an exceptionally fantastic, unbelievable performance, and now we need a real safe and slow and steady exit. So, musicians, would you please stay in your seat until Sean Bianco comes to the stage and he will help dismiss you so that we go where we're all supposed to go. And family and friends, just a heads up, we have cases and music stands and music to gather, so it will be a little